Hello guys, and the question is, are the wheels falling off from Chelsea? Because Chelsea have suffered a 3-0 defeat at the Amex Stadium. This is the second defeat in a row after playing Brighton both in the FA Cup and in the Premier League. Are Chelsea in a disaster? Chelsea have just won 2 of their last 9 matches, and that is a crisis. Chelsea looked toothless. Chelsea looked like they cannot actually create anything in this game. When you look at the overall performance of the game, the chance creation in the game, the shots creation on the game, you can just see that Chelsea were flat throughout the game. Chelsea did not offer anything going forward throughout the game. The question is, has Enzo Maresca been found out? Are we seeing the Enzo Maresca problem that he faced at Leicester in the second half of the season, where his team looked stale, his team looked predictable, and everybody knew? Maresca, a manager who said that he didn't want to play ping-pong football that he saw Chelsea play prior to Maurizio Pochettino, and Chelsea was scoring a lot of goals but lacked control. Him introducing a lot of control has seen Chelsea fall off. The injury of Nicholas Jackson has even further worsened the situation at Chelsea. And in our video today, we look at the effect of Jackson not being on the team, the tactics that Enzo Maresca used in this game, and how Chelsea structured themselves in this game. But all this cannot just be attributed on Enzo Maresca, with a huge blame now coming to the owners. It is rumored, and it's actually confirmed, that Chelsea are going to hold a protest in the home match against Southampton, protesting the ownership of the club because of poor recruitment and as well as the lack of ambition from the owners as well as the top management of the club, especially after Maresca came out and said that it was not Chelsea's intention to be in the top 4 this season. This, coupled by the sacking of Thomas Tuchel, a manager who had achieved a lot for Chelsea, a manager who was on the stands as he saw Chelsea get absolutely obliterated by Brighton. This has further aggravated the fans who believed that this was a wrong move, and the club has not proved them wrong. Maresca has had his tactical problems, and we can now see Chelsea looking toothless in attack as well as looking porous when the opposition play through them. And how did this actually come to be? Let's just look at some few tactics here. Now you can see here Chelsea are looking to try and apply pressure, but you can see the pressure being applied by Nkunku is very lethargic, and this allows Verbruggen the space to actually look to pick a pass. And look at how Chelsea's midfield line is just easily opened up. A pass is played towards the forward line to Welbeck, is played back, and look at Karim Mitoma, and look at the position that Colwill had taken up trying to drop deep, and Chelsea's defense is now being exposed because Colwill has lost his man. And this was not the only instance. We saw time and time again how lethargic Chelsea's press was up front, especially when Nkunku was looking to lead it. As Nkunku was looking to lead this press, he was looking lethargic, he did not cover his angles right, the positioning was poor, and just by 2 to 3 passes, Brighton were able to transition from their defensive third to Chelsea's defensive third, meaning their offensive third. So what really happened? Before we even start this analysis, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Now, when you look at this graph here, you can see Chelsea's overall threat throughout the game, and you can see that Brighton, who are on the purple side, were having the better threat. But Chelsea started off with a strong start. But how did it go? This can be coupled with Noni and Jackson being on the team. So when Brighton looked to press Chelsea aggressively high, because Chelsea have looked much dangerous when they're playing against teams that are looking to press them and they can play through them. Now, Palmer, who was playing as a false 9, could drop into that midfield and look to outnumber Brighton during this build-up strategy. Now, this outnumbering of Brighton during this strategy allowed Chelsea the space to create 1v1s in the wide areas. And also, the passing accuracy of Jorgensen was great. Jorgensen, who's more comfortable on the ball than Robert Sanchez, would step forward and act as an extra centre-back, giving Chelsea that numerical advantage during build-up. Now, whenever Chelsea received the ball, they would look to play the balls especially towards the wide areas, as they had fancied that Noni Madueke and Pedro Neto will be able to match this kind of overload. And once this Chelsea were able to do this, they would, especially with the position of Nkunku, Chelsea would have themselves an opportunity to make runs behind Brighton, and that's how Chelsea looked quite strong in the first half, because Brighton also pressing them aggressively high. And we even saw an instant in the first half where Chelsea should have gone 1-0 up, where they had a 3v1 advantage, but Cole Palmer was unable to play that nice ball onto Pedro Neto. Now, one thing we noticed is that whenever Brighton were looking to go man-to-man with Chelsea, they always left themselves 1v1 at the back, and utilizing the pace of Neto and Madueke, and how Chelsea were able to utilize their midfielders dropping in between the lines. In the earlier stages, Chelsea looked to try and overload Brighton's backline. And even Chalobah in particular was looking to go direct to Noni Madueke, and Noni Madueke, before he got injured, was actually looking like a more lethal attacker for Chelsea. And we saw Chelsea finding themselves in these situations. But again, the lack of numbers up front, the poor decision making up front made Chelsea to lose these situations. Now we move on to the build-up, and during the build-up is where we saw the slow, lethargic horseshoe problem that Chelsea have, where Chelsea just keep the ball and the opponents wait on them to lose the ball and punish them. Because Chelsea was so effective in looking to play in behind Brighton fast with their quick one-touch passes, Brighton sometimes decided to let Chelsea have the ball, especially when they pushed Jorgensen, who's a much better goalkeeper with the ball at his feet, to step out to look to help Chelsea building up and giving Chelsea an extra player during build-up. Brighton decided to just drop their lines, but here came the problem for Chelsea. Playing Nkunku, playing Palmer, playing Enzo Fernandez, these three players want to get onto the ball, and therefore they will drop deep. Now, this created problems for Chelsea, because now the only runners they were depending on were Neto and Madueke. And Madueke was the only direct runner. Neto wasn't. You can see from this clip, no player they are not occupying Brighton's backline. Look at all the positions. Palmer has dropped deep. Nkunku is looking to drop deep. And even when Colwill has the opportunity to play balls over the top, look at the front line. Nobody is occupying the center backs. This is something I've been crying about for the past 2 games. Here is another clip. Chelsea, all the players are coming towards the ball. Nobody is looking to occupy zone 14. How are you expected to score in this kind of situation? Here again, Brighton are now looking to press because nobody is occupying the center backs. Look at Brighton's center backs. They have nobody to cover. Look at Enzo Fernandez. He's dropping deep like a number 8. And even when Chelsea were finding themselves in a position where they would cross and look to create chances, they still were not able to capitalize and actually create something out of it. And when Chelsea had this opportunity, they scored a goal that was actually ruled out because Enzo Fernandez had made a push against the centre back, but this was the only instant that we saw Chelsea looking like a threat. Throughout all the other instances, Chelsea did not look like a threat to Brighton because Chelsea were not looking to put a lot of players to press them. In the second half, somebody would have thought that something will change, but again, Chelsea pushed their lines. Chelsea had enough players behind the ball, but again, you constantly saw Chelsea forwards dropping deep. Look at the problem. Look at zone 14. It has been vacated. We do not see players in between the lines looking to occupy those spaces, and it just became easy. Another problem that Chelsea are facing is their lethargic press. And this emphasizes how Jackson has been very important for Chelsea when it comes to leading the press from the front. Christopher Nkunku is so poor when it comes to pressing. You can see here Palmer was the one looking to apply pressure as Chelsea adjusted from the 4-4-2 to a 4-1-4-1 with Palmer and Fernandes looking to pick the midfielders and the wingers looking to pick the wide players. Now in this scenario, Palmer is looking to press. Enzo and Nkunku are covering the central parts of the pitch, and Noni Madueke is supposed to cover the centre back as well as the full back. But Noni Madueke's press is not well coordinated, as that he allows the centre back to turn and have the opportunity to play the ball to the full back because he didn't use his cover shadow well. The ball is played to the full back, and now it is Gusto who has to step out to look to press. Caicedo is picking up the dropping in forward, and just like that, Chelsea's press is beaten. Here again, the midfielder has dropped deep, who Nkunku is supposed to cover. Nkunku is slow to actually make that press. Nkunku goes in half-heartedly to try and apply pressure, which he fails. And now the midfielder plays the ball to the center back, who's able to play the ball to the midfielder, and who is able to play the ball now forward. Again, you can see the goalkeeper is stepping out with the ball. Nkunku is just standing there. It's not applying pressure. And they are playing with the high line. Verbruggen is able to play that ball over the top. Mitoma is able to hold that ball and have a perfect first touch with the ball, win the ball, and immediately scored. Now, even when Brighton had the ball, you could see the difference in the way Brighton pressed, they defended, and Chelsea. Brighton were much more compact. Chelsea were quite open. Look at how the spaces in between the centre backs, the horizontal spaces and the vertical spaces are wide open. And that's why Brighton was easily able to play through Chelsea, because Chelsea's backline was not narrow, Chelsea's midfield line was not narrow, and therefore Brighton would just play through the middle. And that's why you would find Brighton players picking the ball through the middle and slicing through Chelsea. Now, the injury of Noni Madueke actually killed off Chelsea's attack, because he was looking as the more direct winger in this kind of thing. He was looking more direct and the most dangerous player when it came to the attacking or the forward line. But immediately he came off and Neto came in there. You just know how Neto likes to play down the right. Sancho came in and Sancho was terrible. Sancho was terrible. He could not beat his man. He could not create. He could not attempt any shot on target. And it's something that we've been talking about Jadon Sancho. He doesn't want to attempt shots on target. He doesn't want to beat his man. And you're seeing a player who's playing with low confidence. You are now getting the Sancho from Manchester United. Jackson, who has been heavily missed in this game, is showing that he was very important for Chelsea when it came to out of possession phase and how he would actually look to link up play with Palmer. For Jackson has been one of the players who knows how to play with Palmer, and we could also see the frustration that Palmer has on the pitch. Now, looking at how both of them play, you can see that Jackson offers Palmer that aerial, that stability and that physical presence up front, where he can play link up play and a player who can make those movements so that Palmer can get space. But if you have Nkunku who's looking to try and play like Palmer, dropping deep, and Enzo Fernandez in those positions, Palmer is lacking that physical presence, and that is making Palmer a lot frustrated. Chelsea are currently sitting 6th on the table. They failed to win. Manchester City won, Bournemouth won, and Chelsea are now 6th, and Chelsea are looking to even go lower and lower. That is if Newcastle manage to win, and Chelsea will find themselves even in 7th position, because it doesn't look like Chelsea are looking to change the situation at the team. Maresca looks to be clueless in changing this. Now, I want to do a podcast and give you 2 videos today. This one and the podcast where I have to talk about the problem that is affecting Chelsea. And one problem that is affecting Chelsea is Chelsea's terrible recruitment and Chelsea's lack of ambition, especially in the higher echelons of the club. What do you think? Do you agree with my analysis? Leave your comments in the comment section area below, and thanks for watching.